Welcome to the April edition of Builder Town Hall. I almost jumped months there. My name is Meredith Oliver, and we are so glad that you're here. Whether you're here in Zoom with us or you're watching on Facebook, we're just thrilled to have you. And we hope that over the next hour, you're going to be educated, you're going to be entertained and enlightened on HGTV's #1 show that utilizes new construction homes, Rock the Block. And we are so excited to talk to you about that today. Our next Builder Town Hall is May 5th. So go ahead and block out noon. I don't have a topic quite yet. I have several invitations out there waiting to hear back for our featured guests, but just go ahead and mark down May 5th. And our next office hours is going to be May 12th, the following Friday at noon. If you're not familiar with the concept of office hours, well, it's just what it sounds like. We do, instead of doing a Zoom webinar, we do a Zoom meeting. So everybody's on camera, everybody's mics are on, and there's no preset topic, there's no PowerPoint slides, there's no agenda. It is any of you that want to attend, and myself and Carrie and Angela, should their schedules permit. And really, we're just here, just like your good old college professor had office hours. We are offering you an hour of office hours to ask us anything and put anything in front of us, any challenge you're facing. And also the group might be willing to weigh in. And our first office hours, while we had a small group, it was a mighty group. And we tackled everything from how to get more and better online reviews to working with realtors post-COVID. I mean, we covered so many topics in 1 hour and just chatted it up and really brainstormed. So I know that the people who attended got a lot out of it. So we would really love to see you. So that's May 12th at noon. Okay, Meredith's metrics. Let's do this real quick so we can get back to Rock the Block. On Meredith's metrics for this month, if we're looking at the month of March over the month of February, because I can't look at April yet. We're still halfway through the month. So March over February, well, of course, March showed gains in website traffic, in unique users, in new users, because it has a couple more days than February. So if you're looking at 31 days of March over 28 days of February, March is going to show higher. Of course, in Google Analytics, you can adjust your date range, and you should. And that will help offset that a bit. But the reporting dashboard that I'm using doesn't allow for that. I have a private proprietary product that's feeding in Google Analytics and then presents it in a lovely way to our clients in a much more user-friendly way. So it's a hard calendar month over calendar month. So up 7% on sessions, March over February. This one I loved. New users up 11% and unique users up 9%. So what and how is all of that traffic being generated? Well, our best channels that we continue to see top performance out of are Google Ads, Google Organic using search engine optimization, and Facebook ads. It's just a very well-known but simple sauce, but it's all in the execution. It's in the copy, it's in the images. So it might sound super simple, but it has to be executed correctly and reviewed very often in order for it to perform and give you these increases. So that's pretty exciting, and I love that. So several years ago, I was binging HGTV, and I came across a series from the very first season called Rock the Block. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I like the host, Ty Pennington. I was happy to see his face again. You know, he was the front man for Extreme Home Makeover for many, many years. And so he was hosting, and I like to see that. And I just started watching the show, and I was like, this is cool. I love this. So I started researching it and getting into it. I would like to know from you all, if you can get in, if you would please chat either a yes or a no. How many of you have watched or are a fan of, because you've watched, okay, Rock the Block? So a yes or a no in the chat. I want to see how many yeses we get and just kind of get a feel for it. While those are coming in, okay, I'm seeing a few no's, just a couple. So let me briefly go over, kind of tell you how the show works, and then Laura can correct me when she comes on here in just a minute. So 4 teams of 2 designers each. So there's 4 teams of 2 designers each. Take a new construction home. It's at, Laura tell us, but I would say it's at like sheetrock base paint level. And they turn the home over to the team. Each team gets $250,000. And then they have to complete a series of design challenges. The goal of the show is not who designs the most beautiful home. The winner of the show is determined by who adds the most value via final appraisal. Now, there are weekly challenges. So, for example, the one episode might feature all of them doing their kitchens. Okay. And so they will do their kitchens, and then some celebrity designers from other HGTV shows will come and pick a kitchen winner. And I think those weekly winners might be a little bit more about design, but the final winner, literally, they take an appraisal sheet and they figure it out and figure out who appraises at the highest amount. And that becomes the winner. That team becomes the winner of Rock the Block. They have street signs made up of each team's name, and they take the street sign down that says Rock the Block, and they put up the street sign. Let's say Meredith and Carrie, we were a design team. They would put up and they would name the street Meredith and Carrie. So they get to name the street after them, and really the prestige of winning the competition. I don't know that there's any kind of monetary prize for the designers themselves, but it's a whole lot of exposure over, a 6 to 8 week period where they're working on these homes. All right, so I hope that gives you a little bit of background. Laura can fill in the blanks. Laura, Angela, why don't you guys, ladies, join me? Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah. And Laura is like working like crazy. The show's like just wrapping up, at least airing, not filming, airing. She's running around. She's at her HBA today, giving back, doing interviews for the HBA. I mean, this lady is a dynamo. Now you work for Landmark Homes.
Yeah.
And tell me your title again.
So I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing.
Director of Sales and Marketing. And how long have you been at Landmark?
I've been there, what is it, 2.5 years now?
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, sure. It's an amazing team, and there's no way we would have been able to do all of this craziness without all of them.
Yeah. And of course, welcome Angela.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
Angela,
excited because I'm a fan of this show. I'm a fan of Landmark Homes, first of all,
of
and Laura, but
course.
also a fan of Rock the Block.
Yeah. Now, Angela, Landmark is a customer of O'Neill Interactive, where you
Yes.
are, and are you VP, director? What exactly? Tell me, from customer experience.
Oh, my role at O'Neill is I'm director of Homefinity Experience, and so
Okay.
I have worked with Laura and her team for the last year, I guess, but and then started in the fall with some of the strategies around Rock the Block and all the excitement. So it's been really fun to be involved kind of peripherally, but certainly to have a little bit of an in on what's going on and how it all came about. So excited to be here.
Yeah. So Laura, I think the first question I have for you, and maybe and feel free in the chat to throw out questions and let us know, what questions you have. How did all this get started? Like, how did it go from an idea to we are the builder for Rock the Block season 4?
Yeah, all in a dream, it felt like.
Okay.
It was crazy. So season 3, the builder for that was Hunter Quinn Homes. And so they actually happen to be friends and partners of ours in our Builder 20 group. And so they just know, and they really bonded with the production team and everybody at Big Table Media, who actually shoots the show for HGTV, and became really good friends. So when they said, hey, for season 4, we're looking at, and they rattled off several regions, Pacific Northwest, I think they were looking around Michigan area and Colorado. And like, do you know any builders there? Well, of course, they threw our name in because we're friends with them, and they're like, hey, they knew who we are. They knew our management, our ownership. They, could definitely speak on our behalf. Like, hey, these guys are great. So we get lined up with this call with a producer from Big Table Media, myself and our CEO, Jason Sherrill. And we were like, what is this even? What are we talking about here? Like, what? We had no clue. I mean, I was familiar with the show, but no idea. And got our minds blown for about an hour and a half on a phone call. And like, he and I both walk out of our offices. We're like, what was this just happening? It was just like, we never even thought about, you build homes all day. You don't ever think about shooting a TV show. And so we had the homes. We know we could come up with a floor plan. We have stuff. We knew we could build a quality home. We knew we have the right trades. We knew that. But we didn't have any lots that would work good. So thankfully we have, Hillside Commercial Group, which is in the building next to us, is one of our development partners. So our owner literally just walked out. Jason walked out the door, walked into went and talked to the developers, came back like 30 minutes later. He goes, I got the lots, let's do this. So it was crazy. Production team from Big Table Media and HGTV, there's 4 of them that came out. They wanted to scope out. They were talking to other builders. I think there was like 3 builders in Colorado they were talking with, and then they were heading up to Seattle area, I believe, or Pacific Northwest somewhere to talk to some other builders. So they're on a tour, and they came out and we were showing them some other lots originally, and they're like, well, what about those? And so we had these conversations. There was no streets, there was no infrastructure, it was dirt. And then we have to have homes, done by that vanilla shell so quickly. So it was a wild ride. And then they came and met us, walked our office, got to see our team. For what we've been told, Big Table Media, and like for this particular show, you have to be big enough to do it, but small enough to do it, if that makes sense. Like, you have to be the right fit. And then they were looking for a partner that they felt like they could communicate with, and that we're on the same page, and that we're the same, like, optimistic, we're going to have some trials, but we're in this together. Let's do this kind of mindset. And so that's ultimately what they were looking for. Within, I don't know how long, we joke, I think it was around April 1st is when we found out that we were getting it. We're like, is this a joke? But it really just the call, and then it was just flying from then on.
For our folks that haven't seen the show, the homes that are built are next to each other. They're either on a, from past seasons, I'm thinking they're just on a street, one kind of like a street of dreams. If you've ever participated in one of those, this particular season, they were on a cul-de-sac, which I loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
It made the aerial view of the 4 homes just look spectacular.
Yeah.
Right. And you were saying in the pre-show, 2 of the homes had the mountain view, 2 of the homes had the lake and country club or
Yeah,
golf,
the clubhouse for the golf course.
golf
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
But it was spectacular looking and really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
The producer from Big Table Media said that these are some of the best lots in North America he's ever seen. Like when we were standing in the dirt trying to visualize, and he had always wanted to shoot that. He was like, I want to put a camera in the middle of a court and be able to like get the entire thing. And it was just like, it was, this is the year, let's do this.
Yes.
And
the
so
cul-de-sac to me was like almost a character in the show. It was so impactful. The beauty of those lots was really, really amazing. Now,
one of the things, sorry, Meredith, I was just going to jump in because some of you are probably kind of thinking, this will never happen to me, or this will never, but you've probably heard me say, luck is preparation meeting opportunity, right? And so that's really what kind of, use your connections, you never know what those relationships amongst your Builder 20 groups, amongst, your peers, and what that will, what can happen and what can come out from those kinds of relationships. So it's, keeping your eyes open.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Because of course they asked us the same thing, like, who do you guys know in certain areas or certain things? And when we gave them a list of all of our friends and, people that we know, other builders, some of them, they're just not in the right position right now to take on the show, but there's been a lot of our friends and partner builders and stuff that they've been reaching out to. So it is very much your network, because you just don't know, like, you're going to get that random phone call and it changes everything.
Well, and that's, business is about who you know and your relationships and how well you nurture them. And to Angela's point, anything is possible when you stay in touch with people, nurture relationships, genuinely care about them. And sky's the limit. Yeah. So, how did I get that right about the finish level that you had to, that you built the 4 homes, and then at what point did you stop and go, okay, we're done? I know you were in the background, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, throughout the season, but as far as the initial, we're done building, what phase of construction does that happen? I
was like, we're still not done.
Yeah.
In all honesty, really, it was a drywall. They called it a vanilla shell. We took everything to drywall, ultimately to minimize the destruction on the home, so you're not wasting things, if you will. We knew that we were going to take some walls out. The floor plan was picked specifically because they could turn this room into, a second kitchen, or they could turn it into an office, or it was very convertible. And so that's what makes the show fun. And so we took it to a vanilla shell, and I'm sure all the home builders understand building 4 homes identical next to each other. Any HOA and communities like, no. So some of them are inverted, flipped over, the floor plan wise. And then we had to guarantee too that the elevations would be distinctly different, so that they didn't look exactly like the same home. But in home building land, we all know that you cannot build, 4 identical homes next to each other without it, people starting to wonder. So
yeah. So I'm curious, like, how did you keep from feeling completely overwhelmed, like at first, about, because again, this is a bigger question, a bigger issue, that could be true for any opportunity that comes our way in business or personal life. It's like, I can't do all of that. Like, how did you manage that?
Yeah, there's definitely some people on our team that felt it more than others, that were, took on a full-time project on top of their full-time job. But we managed it, one, because Landmark believes this way, and everybody at Big Table Media, optimism. I'm like, we got it. We're going to do it. We'll figure it out. We've got the right trades around us to get things done. So we knew, like, you can have faith in that, even when it gets wild and crazy. But we leaned on Blake from Big Table Media, who's basically been the producer of all seasons, and he's the one man that knows inside and out about this show, so he could hold our hands. We asked him so many questions constantly, and then I of course reached out to the previous builders, because I was like, tell me what it was. Tell me what you learned. What would you do differently? What, you know, it kind of took on to
I
that
love
part.
that.
Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
who else has done it? This is not something like, we had no idea what we were getting into. And honestly, like
Yes.
now I feel confident. I'm excited to talk to season 5 builder, because I'm like, if I would have known what I know now, you know,
Yes.
filming, it would have been so much better. But yeah, share the knowledge. There's no reason. We're all here together. So yeah, but that's how we got through it. It was just each other, leaning on each other and having the faith that our team and the production team and everybody. And that was the one thing I guess a lot of people don't realize is they bring out a build producer for every home. Because at first, some of our trades and some of even our team were like, oh, are we going to have Hollywood divas roll into town? And like, we're here to build a home. And then we're going to have, you know, that was our thought. We're like, is this going to be like, they're going to take over? They assign a build producer for all 4 homes who their background is actually home building and construction, but they also understand the, you know, the TV world and the videoing of everything. So they could kind of be that liaison of like, hey, I know you want to film this scene. We need to do 2 things really quick. And then that needs to dry for a couple hours. So then you can film. Like they could be that like liaison between construction side. And so really there wasn't any animosity of between TV and construction, because you're in the house at the same time all the time. But you have that person who's kind of quarterbacking it and trying to appease both sides, because you understand like both sides have to get done. But I think not knowing that, I think coming in, we were a little apprehensive. You're not sure if it's going to be turmoil because of that, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I always, you know, I always go back to, I don't know if you remember this, Meredith, but Will Duderstadt years ago did a live tweet while he was ironing on Sunday. his Sunday night ironing. And you know that what he learned from it, I don't know if any of you, I think he talked about it when he was on last year or the year, maybe that was 2 years ago. We were talking about the anniversary of Builder Town Hall, right? But you know, he talked about the fact that nobody knows whether or not it was live or not. So he took the time to tweet live while he was ironing his shirts on a Sunday night. What he realized after and what he learned from it is that he didn't need to do it live. And so how is Rock the Block is kind of similar, right, Laura? It's done, you had some time to prepare and it was filmed.
Yeah, that was filmed back in October and ended the beginning of November is when we did all the filming and everything. So getting the house ready and then doing all that. So of course, keeping the secret, you know, it of course gets out locally. People start to wonder if you actually, Kayla, if you want to put it in the chat, the link to our website where we have all the photos. So we have some behind the scenes and you can kind of see the circus that comes. I mean, literally a giant food tent, all these trailers, you can't hide it in a neighborhood. People know something's going on. But it's really cool, but keeping that secret so long. Thankfully, I was able to get Angela involved pretty quick through an NDA, because I'm like, we need partners that are helping us too, like on the marketing inside of things to kind of make sure we're ready for all of this. But yeah, no, we do a lot then. And we, so we had our own videographer, photographer on site, and we've had some issues. We've had to switch the guy who's editing currently. So there's a little delay of us getting some of that content out. And that was feedback from Hunter Quinn. They're like, we can't use HGTV's footage, but we can take our own. So we had our own person on set a lot of the time capturing things. And so that's what you'll see. We're going to be trickling out for years to come to kind of lengthen this show beyond. And so people can see the behind the scenes and see all the trades and everybody who kicked butt doing it. Yeah.
So how much do the design teams actually do? Like, it'll show them nailing a hammer, and I mean, nailing a nail in with the hammer. And I always wonder, like, are they just getting shots of them doing things because they're so busy filming to make a show, and then somebody else has to come in and actually build the cabinet or whatever? Yeah.
So yes and no, they do a lot. They absolutely do a lot. And there's some more than others to just jump in just because they're handy. Like if they're, there's the carpenter, I mean, Brian Baumler absolutely is out there cutting wood, building stuff. I mean, that's just who he is. Like he's just, you can't keep him away from the tools. But we have to know too, like they're out there, all of those little behind the scenes where you see the two of them being interviewed or two, each team kind of, they have such responsibilities throughout the day for all of this. And they're out there from before the sun rises and after the sun sets several days. So, they're definitely jumping in and out and working on stuff, but there are a lot of people finishing things for them. But
And is that some of your team, or is that people that HGTV brings in? How do
it's our trades and our team. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the part I can't wait to share with the next team, because we weren't fully prepared, but we got it. We figured it out.
Yeah.
We find more people to the houses pretty much that night before judging. No one thinks about who's putting the toilet paper holder on, who's hanging the artwork. That's not a normal, your drywaller is not doing that. Like, who's the trade that actually does the fine detail like at the 11th hour. But so, myself, there's several people on our design team. I pull my husband in, even we got like a whole bunch of people out, and it was a lot of work. There's days we worked 18-hour days before a judging, but those cameras, because they're union, turn off and go away at a certain time. And then everybody takes their shoes off, or you get comfortable if you're doing certain things, if you're, steaming curtains and you're getting comfortable for a little bit, but the music comes out in the middle of the street. All the cats are gone. You were just there with the celebrity talent. And those are those special moments. There was a time where Jonathan Knight was vacuuming. My husband and I were hanging curtains, just talking about, he just came back from the cruise, the New Kids on the Block. And just how it would be if you're moving into a home and your friends are hanging out, helping you get it decorated, get pizza delivered,
And your friend is from New Kids on the Block. Just, hey, Carrie, welcome.
I couldn't miss anymore.
No, come on in.
But those were the special stuff. And that was the time you're exhausted. And then we would leave late at night, and there would be crews coming in to do the night shifts, the cleaners that would be there overnight, the people touching up painting, even landscaping was done at night. It was a nonstop 24/7 work site.
And that's what caught when you were posting about yourself and your husband on Facebook. We just did this, and I was thinking, wait, what? It caught my attention. I was already a fan of the show. So social media definitely works if anyone's still not on that train. And I said to Carrie and Angela, we got to invite Laura, because this is really interesting. And that's what we're always looking for our content. So it was your post about that I was like, what's she doing? Why is she doing that?
And they worked their butts off. They were alongside us, but there are times.
But there are only two people, right?
Exactly. And they've been doing it day after day after day. We come in for 1 or 2 days, so they're a little more energized, they're exhausted. All 8 of them, unless they're tie-in to all 9 of them. By the time they're done, it's exhausting. It is early, late nights. You're stressed. You're running around. You're on your feet. So of course, you can hang out and vacuum while someone else does a little bit of the work. It's okay. You're there with us. They refused to leave until we were done most of the time. There was a couple times we were like, please just go back, go sleep. It's okay. We're 30 minutes. We're almost done. Go. But they were all amazing. They all come in. They are all hard workers. They're all in their own talent. And one night I went into Michelle and Anthony's house, and music was blaring in there, and they were like, everybody's kind of running around, decorating and stuff. And Michelle Smith Boyd was there painting. So several of the artwork in his house, he painted himself, like while he was there. He was like, I had to be in the room and feel it. And he just had this idea. It was just seeing a creative, amazing man in his zone painting. It was just neat. I'm like, that is such a, why isn't that on the show? But the camera crews were gone. And it was those special moments that I thought were really cool. I wish I would have taken more pictures, but sometimes you just kind of feel like it's not the right time or place, but
it's intrusive. Yeah.
What I think as I listen to you and as I watched all of the series and stuff, that I want all of our people, the similarity to that was macro on steroids, what we all go through for the Parade of Homes to a certain degree. So it's funny when I listen to the behind the scenes, I just got back from Wichita, Kansas yesterday, and they've got a Parade of Homes that's starting tomorrow, and all the eyes that are in all the models and all the trades, you know, doing the, you know, the vacuum. It's like there's no job too small.
100%.
Parade of homes. And I see that similarity. I mean, I think that when we talked about this and having you and like how huge Rock the Block is, but our audience, all of you guys, always have such great takeaways and thoughts about what all of our guests have. And there's just so many things that you've already talked about and that I got that I can't wait till I get to jump in and really talk. And Meredith's like, oh no, she's not done. Because I'm not, because I'm just like,
Well, ask your question.
Yeah, it's all good.
so
Go.
like, okay, so you talked about, we kind of talked about this before, because I think it's interesting, because when you started watching it and falling in love with all their different styles,
Yes.
then you realize that that you're going to pick the winner on appraised value. I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
you know, but we live that world. And we have to tell some of our customers sometimes that you absolutely love that mirror that's $5,000. But I want you to know that does not add to your appraised value, blah, blah, blah. So for just a second, talk about, like, I think Meredith said that they got 250. This is how I watch. I had 175. So I'm clearly out to lunch. How much money did they get?
Yeah.
The designers.
Yeah, they upped it this year because the homes were so big. So they did the, you
Oh.
know, they're 5,000 square foot homes compared to previous seasons. So they had to
Got it.
up it because these homes also, I mean, there's just more tile, there's more flooring, there's just more to it.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
it's funny when I listen to that. So these are why my questions are, I will always remember, because I get this everywhere I go. As they walked through the one house and said, oh, a pool. I don't know if that would have been good money, because sometimes a pool, they want it and sometimes they don't. So talk about appraised.
yeah, no, that was definitely, it's interesting. And I will say one thing. So there was a group of us with all of the talent before they announced the winner. Okay. We were all hanging out in Jonathan and Christina's adventure garage, and I can talk about it since it's aired now. And we're just staying warm because it was cold. And they all actually kept saying they all won. Because they had that was the day they finally toured all of each other's homes.
Yeah.
I admit, like, they did 4 amazing homes, and they all kind of felt like a sense of accomplishment, no matter who
Yeah.
won. I 100% agree. And I actually, at that moment, I already knew who won, but I had to keep it quiet. But I was like, at the same time, I totally agreed with them. And I'm like, you guys did an amazing job.
Yeah.
In Landmark, we are graced that we get these 4 amazing, gorgeous homes. They're very distinct and different, but in their own way, they are all amazing. And so it, you know, none of them, in my opinion, lost. And I think deep down, they all feel that way. So then
here's where,
the appraised values.
To you, I have to give kudos to Landmark Homes on this, and lesson learned to people going forward is your reputation and your brand as a company on the kinds of homes that you built allowed you to be considered in this. And if we were to think as builders, is this my signature work that I'm giving right now? Because everybody's talking about brand nowadays. Well, this is like the proving factor that your brand precedes you, that you ended up in selection. And maybe some of us need not to think we're going to be on HGTV, but is the home that I'm delivering to my home buyer a signature home? You know, and is it worthy, and things like that. And that's what I have to say, you know, to you guys. And now, are they sold?
Not yet. So we're currently.
I know, I had to go right to it, didn't I? Because otherwise one of you two are going to jump in and ask it.
We were hoping to list them because we have, like, you know, every week we have to. HGTV's biggest secret is who wins each week and who wins the finale. Like, that is the cone of trust. What these homes look like, we're not allowed to show pictures until that episode's done. We can't show any pictures of the living room until that episode is done and aired. So it's such a hush hush secret. So we were hoping to list all 4 homes this week, now that the finale aired on Monday. But we are still finishing up. Believe it or not, there's a whole bunch of the house you didn't see. There are 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms that you didn't see on the
Oh
show.
my God.
I wondered about
There's
that.
so
because
much house. These houses are huge.
They are huge. And so we're in there right now doing tile work in those bathrooms. We're finishing up those rooms. And so what is amazing is our in-house landmark design team selected the tile and selected the flooring to match each home's style.
Yes.
So I can't wait to show you some of them. Like there's some like Michelle and Anthony, some of their bathrooms in their basement, like the tile is like, it's next level. It's so
Amazing.
cool, but it goes with the style. So yeah, we hope by the middle of next month, they'll be listed. So you'll see it. You'll know, we'll share it. You'll see them.
So do you style and furnish those additional rooms as well?
I don't, as of now, we don't plan to style and furnish, just to haul more and stuff in and out. And ultimately we are selling the homes furnished. So this is the first season of Rock the Block that the furniture stays. So previously they used a lot of staging furniture and things like that, but they had a partnership this season with Wayfair. And so part of Wayfair put so much money in and so much of the furniture. So everything really stays. There's some artwork that was done. I think Michelle and Anthony took their artwork that they did. There's some artwork that my landmark team, our designer, did herself. So what you guys don't know is like everything that is seen artwork wise has to go through like approval process, and they have to get permission from the artist to show it on TV. And so that's why all the books are backwards, because that would be insane, especially in the Page Turner library. If you had to get approval for every single book, that's why they're turned backwards. It has nothing to do with style and design, even though it looks better.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was the style.
I did too. And I hope,
here's
what I hope Wayfair says, as seen in.
Oh, they did.
They did.
Yeah.
They made out so good on that. Like their truck was constantly in a shot. Their QR code.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Kevin,
And people are calling us constantly going, what was that couch? What was that? I'm like, go to Wayfair. Just go to Wayfair. Here's the link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, the furniture gets to stay and we're going to sell them furnished.
Kevin asked in chat.
Plunge pool and everything.
Yes.
He was wanting to know, how long did you have to keep the secret?
Until this week. I mean, really, we had to keep the secret of every episode. You know, we couldn't pick one that was.
And you finished, you said in November?
The first week of November.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said, it's like, do they get married on The Bachelor or don't?
Did you get a rose, Laura? I hope you got a rose.
Did you get a rose, Laura? Every house got a rose.
But it is like, think of the hundreds of people that went through those homes and all of the trades and all of our partners and even our preferred partners like O'Neill that we had to let into this, into the circle of trust because we had to work on all the NDAs that were signed, because if that secret gets out, if you find out who the Bachelor picks, does that not ruin the entire show?
It does.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, and I think that was one of the questions you guys mentioned earlier. Honestly, knowing who wins each episode in the end, for me, it lost something for the show, because we had people that would ask us, who won? I'm like, you don't want to know. It actually is so much more fun to watch it when you don't know. Yeah. Knowing the result, it took a little like wind out of your sail from watching it. It was trust me, you guys don't want to know.
So Laura, application again to our people is that we all have, like, I talked about Parade of Homes, but generally speaking, everything old is new again now. So like just realtor opens and different kinds of events and models. I mean, we're pulling all the rabbits out of the hats now to sell a home. Obviously there was event planning in this. And you being the director of sales and marketing for Landmark, do you have any tips or hints for us on like when you are going to decide that you need to host an event, like what's first or something like that?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, and we hear it all the time, but it's hard to make that investment, is document it. So yes, we're like, oh yeah, they're like, we'll send a marketing coordinator around, she'll take some pictures, we'll be fine. We had somebody designated. We were so wrapped up with what was going on. And I feel like when you pull like Parade of Homes and you do other events in your model homes, you're running around sometimes that you're not actually capturing those moments that you actually really should capture. And so we haven't even seen our content, but we have a lot and it's coming. We're just a little delayed on it, but We had someone out there with a video with filming taking drone shots and photos the entire time for Landmark and our trades. We were sharing it with them. And
That's
so,
awesome.
so that you can be in the moment, you can be running around doing the things that you're supposed to do in sales and marketing or home building, whatever it is. Someone else's job is to capture that. And I think that was our biggest takeaway, because you can't do it all. And you just assume like, oh, it's not a big deal. I got my phone. I can get some pictures. No.
Well,
No.
I also think the documenting of it is sometimes then when you want to host another event, you don't have to rethink it. You can go back into the archived knowledge that you documented to say, this was our most, it tells you the date, the time, what you did, maybe what you served. That's what, those are some of the things that I want people to understand is you don't have to always be at square one on having an event in a home. Some of your best ideas you've already done. And like when you said, when you're talking about the archives, and you know me, I'm always transferring, and you just such a great job, is like when you said you went to the other builders previously to say, what would you have done differently?
Yes.
Builders, salespeople that are on with us understand focus groups. Go back to your customers to find out what they liked, what they would have done differently. We have so many things, tools to be better. And this show, Rock the Block, it has way more to it behind the scenes to scale it back to us.
Yeah. And I think leaning on other people, like, you know, talking to those other builders that have done it, but we all have builder 20 groups, or we have networks of salespeople or sales or marketing people, but leaning on them and asking questions. I'm in a Jeff Shore group right now too. And I'm like, I'm probably the one that asked the dumbest questions in the group, but I'm like, there's some smart people in there that are like beyond my, smart, or, brilliant people. Ask, because how else do we learn? And no one's ever been everywhere that we have been. So just ask the questions.
A builder that I worked for a long time ago told me that I really want to be the dumbest person in the room and learn the most from everybody else. And that's it. You nailed it. And I think it's so important for everybody to just understand all of that, right?
Yeah.
The biggest takeaway I got from the gal at Hunter Quinn that I spoke with was their logos on the building. So I don't know if you noticed, like they don't talk about Landmark fronts. Like our name is not.
But your rap spoke. I loved it. Every time I saw that, my little marketing heart sang a little song. Like I loved it.
Yeah, it took us like 2 or 3 days. Our sign company it was a thunderstorms. We were trying to get they are basically die cut stickers on a black wrap around the house. And so we had to get permission with the production team of how many we put, where we put them. They're like, we're going to shoot here. So that works good. Like it was a thing to get those suckers up. But we had to wait so we could get our lips in there. That was the one piece, and I owned it. And I was like, I'm going to make sure that happens, because we were running out of time. We had to turn the homes over to the actual production team quickly. But I was like, that is the one place. And so, our sign company, I even bribed them with some dinners because their wives were getting nervous because they were out there for so long. And they're like, when you coming home? When you coming home? And I'm like, I need these up. So now this is the only thing we get. And
I noticed that right out of the gate, Laura.
Yeah,
the first episode. It was
gave me the idea.
So did I, and I was just like, and we, from all of you marketing people, and and I've learned so much marketing through osmosis that it's crazy what you can pull out of your own brain. But interestingly enough, what we don't even know what to do to sell ourselves sometimes. Like I have window cleaners at my house today, and I asked them, do you have a sign that you want to put in my yard? Because it's spring. We finally have sun in Minnesota. You can put a sign in our yard while you're cleaning the windows and have them up. Oh, we never thought of that. Bad on you.
Yeah. You were, as I say, another character in the experience because of the logos on that wrap. And you didn't have to do anything else. You didn't have to try to get pushy, not that they would have given you airtime, but you know, you didn't have to do anything else. Like that was it.
And Landmark in those situations. Well, I started reaching out to them before we even shot the show. Once all the people were selected, I'm like, I followed them on social. I started commenting from Landmark.
We always say inspect what we expect and blah, 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 but rewarding the people, like how you have talked about the people that stayed late. Sometimes in crunch time, we get on those trades like this and forget about the family at home that doesn't have that person. And, all of the things that you can do to reward people to strengthen the connection. I'm telling you, don't ever anybody let a moment go by that you can't compliment on or reward or thank, because that goes that goes so far, right, Laura?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, what our team, our trades, this city itself to get us expedited through the permit. And that's partly why I cannot wait. We're going to do some amazing videos where we're highlighting all the people from behind the scenes that made this happen. Because this isn't Landmark. And this is what we said from day one. Like, these are our homes. Yes, this is a Landmark brand, but it is all of our trades and it is all of the community and everything. And I even said other builders are going to benefit from this because it's going to strengthen that drywall company. Like we had a drywall company that never had social media until they knew they were going to be on the show. They just started their accounts. They're so proud. They're the cutest things. And I'm like, they're growing. This is like helping everybody in our region. And it's highlighting, Northern Colorado as a whole. I'm like, we can't build all the homes. This is going to help everybody bring the highlight to them. So I'm like, we love it. We love it for everyone. And that was like kind of our biggest in of why, when they asked us to do it, it was beyond, we weren't looking at it as selfish of like, oh, we get to build these homes and sell them. It was, what does this mean for our team and our community?
Carrie, you specialize in and talk a lot about culture.
Yep.
And I know we had a question about that. I don't know, you want to jump in or ask, because
what was the question? Can you give it to us quick, Laura?
Sure. What did this whole experience do for your team and your culture? Like you've said, it helped your trades grow some of their businesses and expand, lift up the whole industry. That's definitely one. But what about for your company? What did it do for your culture?
And I think some of it we're going to see more and more. There's definitely, I'll be honest, it added stress. So, there is a negative piece of it, shocking, right? We all have like our other homes to build and we're pulling people to a community, but it also shows the whole way we like pick up slack for each other. I know we had our director of operations who was basically, he lived in one of the trailers out there. He had a radio. He was like air traffic controller. He could not do his daytime job because he basically ran that place. And same thing with several of our supers and several of our guys out there. The rest of the team kind of picked up the slack, but we didn't mind because we understood who those people were and they would do the same thing for us. And so, there is this unification in battle kind of thing is what I looked at it. Like when we're shoving a drywaller, an electrician and a plumber all in the same room, because how often does that ever happen? That never happens when you build a home. They I don't come in until they're done, until it's done.
But that is living your culture inside and outside, right? And it bled through. And what you just pointed out, which is what we a lot of times talk with different people on Builder Town Hall, is that when you work with departments without borders, meaning like, this is my cubby, don't go and ask accounting this. That's one of our big things, is because like when you take the three of us, we all have different areas of expertise, but we don't have these borders that like, don't cross this is Angela's kind of thing, because that truly is where teamwork does make it work. That if everybody thinks I hold a piece to the puzzle to this big project is awesome. And obviously you guys had to do that because you said it exactly right. Another full-time job on top of a full-time job. And like my mother used to always say, and do it with a smile on your face. And we're like,
Mine too.
I'm not smiling.
You're going to clean that bathroom and you're going to smile while you do it.
Yes.
And you're going to have fun.
Yes.
But it's a great
fun.
But it was a great lesson. And the point is well taken. When something is hard and stressful, try to find a way to have fun in it. And it's obvious from the way you speak about it and your team that that's what you guys did, even on those long days. Yeah, is there anything we haven't asked you that you just really wanted to share about the experience?
I mean, there's so many stories behind the scene, like all the fun things that were great. But we could be here all day. But I guess one thing I was just going to add on to that, though, is just even the production team and Big Table and stuff like that, they would pay for an ice cream truck to show up in the afternoon on a hot day. So all of those workers would come out and like having them have Big Table Media, HGTV, us, all of our trades, and our trades know us because this is how we function all the time. Having that same, we're in this together, we're going to get it done, we're going to stay positive about it mindset. But then it was great. It was awesome. Like they had a churro truck. That was the best. I like little things like that. Like, every couple of days there'd be a new truck in the afternoon, and they took care of
the little things in life, people. It's
the little things.
It is.
It is.
And that's partly what we looked at that, and we're like, we need to do more of this type of stuff in our communities. We need to show up on a job site, and surprise people with an ice cream in an afternoon during the summer. We want to do more of these types of things for our company and our trades. And so that's there's all these little nuggets that you take away that you understood, like people are willing to go that extra mile, stay those extra hours when you do those types of things, and they can kind of see the common good together.
The few times that I've had the opportunity to work with people at a much higher level than myself, meaning, like getting to work with that professional film crew and all of that. It's it brings you up, a level, I believe, because you move up to that, and then you get the ideas, you're exposed to a whole new world of things that people do or don't do or say or don't say. And then, you get the chance to then share that. And then realizing that to somebody out there, you are the big dog, whatever. I don't know what word I want, but you are the level up that they look up. And they're looking up to you, getting those ideas and tips and tricks. And that whole cycle is incredible for me, is why I've done what I do. And it's incredibly rewarding.
Yes. Someone is always looking up to you, right, Meredith?
Yeah.
Someone is always.
And then, when you get a chance to work with somebody else at a very high level of finish, polish, experience, or it's not that they're more experienced than you, it's just they operate in a whole world of maybe media, for example, that we don't know anything about because we're home builders, right? And you're just exposed to that. I mean, I just give you so much kudos.
Yep.
And to the other builders that have done past seasons, it's quite the learning experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Don't forget those people that you looked up to. Like you met so many people, right? And that you looked up to. I think it's remembering that and remembering those people. Like as we go through all this and you think about this, how did the three of us all get together? Like I looked at Meredith Oliver on a stage at a sales rally years ago and said, I want to know her. I want to meet her. And now I message her every day. So also be careful what you wish for. No. But
message me anytime, all day.
But that,
how true is that statement? I remember seeing both of you on a sales rally, and never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I would be here now. So
you would be the third leg on our three-legged stool.
Wow. Andy wrote, it's all Meredith's fault. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely.
But, just to bring all this together and round it out, and then we'll call it a day. What I heard today is think bigger than your current level of world experience and talent and skill to expose yourself to something new and bigger. Build relationships so that you have those resources, but you can only build those relationships if you're a genuine, authentic person who really cares about other people, and you're willing to put them first and work behind the scenes like crazy all night long to help them be great, you know. And then you have those relationships, and then thinking about what it can do for your whole team, and, you know, working on as a team through the experience. I commend you. And I will tell you that the marketing on this has a very long shelf life. I was a kind of like in Angela's position as the outside marketing person for a custom builder who did the HGTV smart home one year. And it was spectacular. And yeah, we had to keep the secret. We had to have all the stuff ready to go as soon as they announced and what have you. And to this day, their search SEO reports, this has been like 10 years ago, say HGTV smart home. Like, this stuff lives on. They're still getting people from it. So it's going to last. It's going to be an investment in your people and in your business that's going to last for some time to come. Yeah. All right, you guys, it's 1:01. We got to go back to work. Everybody have a great day. We will see you May 5th for Builder Town Hall, and we'll see you May 12th for office hours. Thanks. Have a good one. Thank you,
Awesome.
Laura. You were amazing.
Thanks, Laura.
Snaps.
I'm glad we were
Thank you. Yay.
Bye.